Hi, I'm Hayden Keys. I'm a naturopath and I specialise in hormonal acne. And today, what I'm going to walk you through is where do you start when you've got hormonal acne? What are your options? So the first step is to consider your options. And now there's two options that you have. You can take the medical pathway or you can take the natural pathway. Now, if you take the medical pathway, the things that you're going to be prescribed are topicals, so creams, lotions, benzoyl peroxides, these sorts of things, or you might be given antibiotics, or you might be given the birth control pill, or you might be giving something like Accutane or Roaccutane. Okay, so they're the medical options for dealing with acne and hormonal acne, particularly the birth control pill. Now, the natural treatment of hormonal acne revolves around diet, herbs, and the use of vitamins and minerals. So things that the body can use to rebalance itself, as opposed to the medical options where these medications take over a function from the body. They're very strong. So let's have a look at the medical options. Now, the medical approach may work faster, but the thing it doesn't do is it doesn't fix the root cause or the underlying reason for your hormonal acne, which is your hormonal imbalance. This is why, from what I see, for many young women, their acne returns once they stop using the topicals, or they stop the Accutane or Roaccutane, the birth control pill, or the antibiotics. Often, at some point down the track, acne returns, and it often can turn up much worse than it was in the beginning. Now, the other big issue around the medical option, particularly the birth control pill, is that it messes up your fertility. Okay? The birth control pill doesn't regulate your cycle, doesn't balance your cycle. It may give you a seemingly regular period, although it's not actually a period, because the birth control pill turns off your menstrual cycle, okay? So it turns off your hormones. Then it takes over from them by giving you synthetic hormones. And then later on, when you decide you don't want to take the pill anymore and you come off, your natural hormone levels are all messed up, and that can be a big issue if you want to get pregnant at that time. So while these medical options may work quicker, they're stronger and they often interfere with how your body runs. Okay, so let's go through the individual types of medical options. So topicals, these just work at a very superficial level. Okay, they don't change anything about the hormones, they're just reducing oil production or just cleansing the skin. That's about all they do. Accutane and Roaccutane, it works by stopping oil production. But like with the topicals, it doesn't affect your hormones. So if you've got hormonal acne, when you stop the Accutane or Roaccutane, quite often down the track, your acne returns because the hormonal imbalance is still there and the oil production just kicks up again. Now, the birth control pill is hormonal, but it takes over your hormones, as I was saying a little bit earlier. Okay, so this can stop, or this balances out the male sex hormone versus female sex hormone issues, but it shuts down your natural cycle, which isn't great, okay? So it will get rid of the acne, but often when you come off the pill, then your hormones are going to be further imbalanced and your acne is often going to be worse than what it was to start with. Now, antibiotics, these work a little bit differently. They work by reducing inflammation in your body and inflammation in the skin that's triggered by bacteria. And they also deal with if there's any infection there. They don't rebalance the hormone levels. So again, when you stop antibiotics, often your acne will return. It's just a very specific treatment while you're taking it. Okay, and often what I find from talking to a lot of young women with hormonal acne problems is the antibiotics lose their effectiveness over time as well. So what are your natural options? First of all, natural options are dealing with the underlying cause. This is why they can take a little bit longer, because your hormones only change every month. So when you're getting a period, generally you get a period monthly. Okay, so that means the hormones will only change every like once a month or over the month. So it just does take a little bit longer. But the beautiful thing around this is that it's rebalancing your hormones. So then it's able to eliminate your acne long term, and it's also improving your fertility. So as you rebalance your hormones to fix up your skin, you're actually optimizing your cycle so that then down the track when you want to have a baby, you're ovulating regularly, your hormones are balanced, and that should all be really easy to get going, as opposed to what's happening for a lot of women now. They're on the pill for 10, 15, 20 years, then they stop, their hormones are all messed up, and they have trouble having a baby as well. Now, step 2 in the process of working out what you need to do is you need to find out a few things. Particularly, you need to find out what your hormone levels are like, because if you've got hormonal acne, your acne is due to some sort of hormonal imbalance. And it's this hormonal imbalance that's increasing oil production in the skin. Now, there's 2 types of hormones that can trigger excess oil production. Sex hormones like testosterone, so that's your male sex hormone. High DHEA, which is another hormone in your body that can affect your male sex hormones and increase the production. And then you've got estrogen and progesterone, your female hormones. Now, if these are low, then you lose the effect that they give by reducing oil production, and they also help suppress male sex hormones. So if you've got imbalances in your sex hormones, your testosterone, your estrogen, your progesterone, your DHEA, that can be triggering all that excess oil production along the jaw, around the mouth, chin, and sometimes on the cheek and temples. Now, the other type of hormone that can really affect oil production in your skin are stress hormones. You might not think so, but actually stress hormones, which are released when you're under stress, which is modern life, these actually trigger your oil glands to produce extra oil. All right. Now, other things that can be causing your acne to be worse are diet problems. Okay. So certain foods that you might be sensitive to that you don't actually realize. Now, what I call the 4 diet demons for acne are dairy, sugar, gluten, and soy. These foods are inflammatory, and that really starts to have a negative effect on your skin. So they inflame the follicles, that makes the pores smaller, oil gets trapped in there, dirt gets trapped in there, they become infected, bacteria breed a bit more, and then that starts to trigger a pimple. Now, if you also have the hormonal imbalance on top of that, where you're producing excess oil, the more inflamed those pores become from certain foods you eat, like the gluten, the dairy, the soy, and the sugar, then all this oil just gets trapped in there and you start getting big blind pimples and cystic acne, these sorts of things that are really painful, itchy, and they really look nasty. Okay, so one of the first things you can do is just look at reducing some of these foods in your diet, so getting rid of the 4 diet demons. In terms of your hormones, the third part is, after you know which ones you want to get checked, you then have to go and get them checked. Now, this is where a lot of people run into some frustrating problems with their doctors, because they go to the doctor, they say, I think I've got a hormone imbalance, I've got hormonal acne, can you check my hormones? Now, you think your doctor would be really happy to do that for you, but often they aren't, because in their mind they're thinking, okay, well, if you've got hormonal acne, what we're going to do is we're going to give you either antibiotics, the contraceptive pill, or Accutane or Roaccutane. So therefore we don't need to check your hormones. And a lot of people, a lot of patients I have, they find that really frustrating, because they'd really like to know what's going on with their hormones, but often the doctor won't check them for them. So this is sort of the thing that really gets my back up, and I get really angry about this, because your GP or your doctor's meant to be there to help you get well, help your body function properly, but they're just putting barriers in your way to getting well, because they're just thinking, okay, you just need one of these medical approaches. But more and more young women are finding that this isn't really the right approach, and they want to do it naturally. So they ask the doctor, well, what can I do naturally? And either they get no response, or they say there's nothing you can do. But there's a lot you can do, and this is where I step into the picture. And this is why I'm seeing so many young women now coming to me for help to clear their hormonal acne, and we're getting great success. Okay, so I'm able to rebalance your body, rebalance those hormones, and that gets control of the skin. And there are certain other labs we can use, not just the doctor's ones, to get those hormones tested, so we can find out what's going on. We can then put in a proper program to balance out those hormones and get you having picture perfect skin again. Okay, so they're the things you need to do, they're the steps you need to walk through to get yourself started. And in some upcoming blogs, I'll be going through in a bit more detail the ins and outs of how we do all of that. Thank you for now. Hope you enjoyed that video. Talk to you soon.